You don't wake up to a sound. You wake up to the absolute absence of one. That stale, humid heat from the yellow-walled hotel is gone, replaced by a sterile, vertical void that feels like it's literally sucking the warmth right out of your skin. When you finally crack your eyes open, the world around you makes zero sense. You're staring at massive, dark metal shelving units that slice through the dark, stretching up until they disappear into a ceiling that might not even be there. The air is thick, heavy with that metallic ozone tang of static electricity. You try to push yourself up, but the sound of your jacket brushing against the floor echoes like a damn thunderclap in this place. Suddenly, a cold, surgical blue light sweeps across your face. A HUD flickers into existence right in your line of sight, a pulse line perfectly flat that spikes violently with every single throb of your heart. A message pulses in deep red on your retina. Acoustic calibration in progress. Silence is mandatory. You realize right then and there, you're not just being watched, you're being benchmarked. Every ragged breath you take makes that graph redline, edging closer to a limit you know, deep in your gut, you cannot cross. In this infinite archive, sound is your worst enemy. You lock your jaw, trying to kill the shivers racking your body as you notice the shelves next to you are holding something organic. Thousands of folders with a texture that looks way too much like human skin, each one paired with a tiny monitor humming with gray static. Your eyes drop to the label on the closest one. The name typed there? It's yours. You reach out, your fingers shaking as they hover over the surface of that folder, the one practically screaming your name. The texture isn't paper or plastic, it's warm, slightly damp, like the shelf itself is some kind of biomechanical organism pulsing in a sick symbiosis with whatever it's holding. As you pull it open, one of the small monitors embedded in the rack flickers to life, spitting out a grainy, low bitrate light that stings your eyes after all that gloom. What you're looking at isn't some bureaucratic file. It's a memory you would have sworn was yours and yours alone, the exact moment you were born. The audio on the playback is a metallic hiss, a corrupted, deep-fried version of reality where your parents' faces have been replaced by a void of digital noise, like the system tried to reconstruct the footage from a dying hard drive and failed miserably. You feel this hollow pit of helplessness opening up in your chest as it hits you. Nothing here is sacred. Your entire history has been stripped down, compressed, and filed away. You're just a string of pixels that the archive molds and distorts as it forgets the human details. All around you, thousands of other folders whisper with the dim glow of other lives, fragments of people who are now nothing more than background noise on an infinite shelf. Panic starts clawing at your throat, a physical pressure begging to be let out in a scream. But that HUD graph in your vision flashes a cautionary yellow at even the slightest twitch of your shoulders. You scramble back, trying to get away from that distorted image of yourself, but your feet, heavy with the weight of a life you no longer own, catch on a piece of scrap metal forgotten on the floor. That clatter of metal hitting the floor isn't just a noise. In a place built on absolute silence, it's a death sentence. As your flashlight slams into the cold tiles, the sound waves rip through the infinite corridors, bouncing off the impossible geometry of the shelves and amplifying until it feels like the room itself is screaming your failure back at you. The HUD in your vision instantly redlines, bleeding into a jagged, angry scarlet. Suddenly, the air feels heavy, thick with a static charge that makes the hair on your arm stand straight up. The floating interface doesn't just warn you anymore. It passes judgment. Noise detected. Entity dispatched. The sterile blue light of the calibration phase cuts out, plunging the stacks into a rhythmic, pulsing red glow, a mechanical heartbeat that echoes the frantic thudding in your own chest. You feel that raw sense of helplessness, knowing that the rules you were trying so hard to follow have been shattered. The system isn't just measuring you now, it's coming to collect. From the deep shadows miles above you, a sound emerges that has no business existing in the real world. A vast metallic scraping. It's not the sound of a beast's footsteps, it's the sound of wires being tensioned and microphones dragging against metal. A massive hunting infrastructure mapping every inch of the environment through your own echoes. You realize that staying still is just accepting your archiving, but every twitch of your muscles is a beacon for whatever is descending from the dark. You move like the air itself is made of glass, each step calculated so you don't shatter the silence that's left. Up on the shelves, those 2D silhouettes, the stickmen, glide between the shadows of the skin-textured folders, looking like rough sketches of beings the system never bothered to finish. They don't have faces, but you can feel every line of their bodies tilted in your direction, perfectly tuned to the frequency of your panic. The listener doesn't show up like a typical movie monster. It's more like a massive glitch in the infrastructure. It's a chaotic mess of black cables, old-school satellite dishes, and long-range microphones descending from the darkness like a mechanical spider. It doesn't need to see you. It maps the entire corridor by emitting low-frequency pulses that make your teeth rattle and send that HUD graph into a frenzy. You freeze against the cold metal of a rack, feeling the deep hum of the machinery operating behind the walls, realizing the system isn't just in this place, it is this place. The helplessness is absolute when you notice the entity is scrubbing the environment, deleting any sound that doesn't belong to the archive. You spot what looks like a side exit, a gap between the towering files that promises total darkness, but as you reach it, the hallway just folds back in on itself. You didn't find a way out. You found your final destination, a hollow, open slot in the shelf, waiting for exactly your volume. You back up until your shoulders hit the edge of the shelf, but there's no solid thud of metal. Instead, you feel a sickening give, like the structure itself is opening up, inviting you in. The panic hits a breaking point, and you wrench your mouth open to let out the scream that's been clawing at your throat since you woke up. But the sound just doesn't happen. In a microsecond, the system shifts the density and the frequency of the air around you, turning your scream into an absolute vacuum. You can feel your vocal cords vibrating, but the only sound in the archive is the static hiss of your own existence being deleted. An invisible, steady force begins to pull you into the slit between the skin-textured folders. You thrash, but your arms sink into the warm surface of the shelf, which seals shut over you with the surgical precision of a wound healing. The HUD in your vision starts to tank, pixels fraying into corrupted error codes, while the last image you register is the infinite corridor, now perfectly silent, motionless, and empty, as if you never even set foot there. The monitor on the shelf flickers one last time, displaying a line of text that's cold, functional, and final. User 042, archived. Storage optimized. You aren't an intruder, a glitch, or a survivor anymore. You're just another folder on the rack, a fragment of memory the system will keep processing and forgetting, over and over, forever. The individual fell, but the structure remains intact, colossal and hungry for fresh data. In the silence of the archive, the system marches on,